And we are live. Yo, Fluffs, good to see you all. Thank you all for coming. Glad you could make it. We have part 3 of the series because you guys voted it in. So whoever has a problem with it, and it's because you are buttered that Mctoon is getting his ass handed to him, that's your problem. Anyway, if you missed part 1 and 2, the links are in the description below. And we've got PJ Cruikshank and Vicky in the house. How are you guys doing?
Good.
She's good. She's good. She's getting ready for her birthday tomorrow. And
yeah, she has to be good. She's turning 18 tomorrow, so
18 again. She's been turning 18 for at least 22, 23 years, is it?
Hey, don't say how much she is now.
I don't think she
Say
minds.
happy birthday to Alan.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, Alan. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Alan Norstrand. He's
a bit older
turned
than
21 today, guys.
Yeah, he's older than Vic. He's 23 years older, so a bit more mature as well, you know.
So happy birthday, Alan. I hope you had an awesome, blessed birthday, and I hope you can have a blessed birthday further on. But yeah, it's good to see him here. It's good to see you guys. And unfortunately, tomorrow, Vicky, I have Luch on for our part 2 on your birthday. That's why I said PJ's supposed to take you out tomorrow night. And I said she's take you out tomorrow in the week, back in the day.
Yeah, she prefers to go out in the day.
It's all right. I will listen to Luch as long as I don't.
Otherwise, take the evening off and watch a DVD or something, guys.
She said she'll listen to Luch as long as he doesn't do another show within the next year or so. I tell you what, Luch will probably be in Google for a year, writing things in Discord to you so you could have a special show next year, you know what I mean?
The thing is, he only paid for the 18th and the 19th, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
So as soon as all the other ones he's still spamming me on, we don't need to read.
Definitely not.
I mean, we'll sit here forever.
Is he still
sit here forever?
Wow.
He's still adding to it.
Yeah, tell him he needs to have a lot more wins than just 10 grand. Yeah.
So I'm just going to say hi to everyone in the chat. Thank you guys for coming. Please hit those likes, share the show. Really, really do appreciate you guys. And I think we're ready to start part 3.
Let's do it.
This is more or less where we ended last time. So yeah, let's listen what they're going to carry on doing. Is it default? I want to make it bigger. There we go. Okay.
As you go up, so it's highest density at the bottom. But this demonstration you have here, well, it's not on the screen anymore. But the demonstration you had that one there, yeah, that would require the inverse.
So wouldn't this, if the person is looking through the fish tank, aren't they they're looking through a low density and they're looking horizontally as opposed to considering like the changes as you go vertical? They're looking horizontal and they are looking through themselves. They're looking through low density, extreme high density, and then the density changes as you go through salt water to get an apparent flat look to something. Because this, like these examples here are all through air. Like these are all through air, and then this here is through air as well. And
well done, Nathan.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
we don't look through fish tanks in reality.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we said this the last series, part 2. Exactly, Nathan. We don't look through fish tanks. So this is where Mctoon's probably supposed to say, "Oh yeah, you're correct." So therefore, my demonstration that I want to bring up is just literally a non sequitur, and it's a category error because we don't look through fish tanks.
We don't.
But does he do that? That's the thing.
Yeah. Well,
so
it's simulated. It's simulated.
Yeah, it's an attempt to try to isolate or say, hey, we claim a variable and then we want to try to show can it. And I think that's the point of this demonstration, is just to show that it is possible to use natural conditions. There's no blaster furnace or extreme freezer or anything like that. This is using natural conditions to show that it is actually possible to get the bottom up disappearance. And I am curious as well, because I know people have made measurements and observations, say just across lakes, large lakes or bodies of water, and they've done it at freshwater, saltwater lakes, bays, and everything. various distances,
Mhm.
long and short, relatively speaking.
Okay.
But then
I
they
have
also,
I have it ready if you want to see.
yes,
You didn't hear a word that Nathan just said.
No.
He literally just ignored everything he just said. Did you guys realize that?
I did. BJ's in the bathroom.
No, but I'm saying Mctoon, McClown face, literally ignored everything Nathan just said.
Yeah, he just doesn't care. He just wants to say what he's got to say, and that's it.
Yeah, it's insane. And that's supposed to be honesty, guys. Usually in a debate, you listen to what the opponent says. And he
Definitely.
literally just closes off to what's being said and does anyway what he wants to.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I think that's one thing Nathan, he might have to work on, is call the guy out on stuff like this and say,
Yeah.
hey, I just said something. Maybe repeat to me verbatim what I said to you, because I don't
Yeah.
think you were listening.
Yeah, his info is brilliant. His info is brilliant. But like you say, yeah, maybe call him out when he goes off topic, which he usually does. You know.
Mhm. Because yeah, you can literally see he's made a point now, and Mctoon just doesn't listen to what he's saying, and then he just carries on doing what he does anyway. Just say what he wants, because he's probably going to show the fish tank now anyway.
Yeah. Lumen. I mean Nathan. Sorry, calling him Lumen all the time. He deals it better than I could. He's definitely a lot better debater than I could be, because I would probably lose it with Mctoon. And as YouTube said earlier, Mctoon's one of the Globers that has got the most punchable face. That's joking,
It's
Mctoon. I'm joking.
Yeah, McPunch face.
Yeah, McPunch face. Sorry, MC Toon. I meant.
No, it's Mctoon.
I know.
That's how
I
it's
know.
spelled. Mctoon. If he doesn't like it, that's his problem. Because that's what it
Mr.
says. Mctoon. He's not an
Exactly.
MC, guys.
He's not a master of ceremonies.
He's definitely not an MC, so definitely not going to call him MC Toon. But he's a Mctoon because he's a tuner. He's a toon character.
Yes, he does, Edward. He certainly does.
I will stop sharing, but we see these various flawed sightings in various conditions, and I'm just there is actually something that I'll pull up once you're done, but it has to do with in chemistry. I learned for refraction that you have your standard temperature and pressure that you make a measurement at, 20 degrees standard pressure, atmospheric pressure.
See what I'm saying?
And if you
He just brought up the fish tank after literally Nathan told him, we don't see through a fish tank.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are doing demonstrations showing in nature, looking through air and using nature to show what we're claiming. What does Mctoon do? No, let me show the fish tank anyway. Even though he literally just said we don't see it through a fish tank. So therefore it's a non sequitur, it's a category error, and it's literally a waste of time.
YouTube says Toonami. That's Newcastle United Football Club in the
Mctoon,
UK.
just like McNuggets and McMuffin. Exactly. Sovereign. Exactly.
Synthetics.
1 degree Celsius to that measure, to the conditions, you have to take your measured refractive index and then you have to add 0.0004. And if you go colder than 20 degrees, for every 1 degree Celsius, you have to subtract
YouTube and Jeff and everybody.
0.0004.
If I haven't said
So
hello, good to see you
the
guys.
hot and cold temperatures actually change your refractive index, and
Yeah.
one will bend light further or less than the other. And we do see.
Oh yeah, thinking about it now, guys. It looks like I've set a time with Z, Zetetic Warrior channel, for Friday morning.
Got you.
So 1:30 Central African time in the morning, I'll be on his show.
So,
So
3:30
I'll still
here.
probably have a 9 o'clock show, but only for an hour.
Yeah.
And then I'll get rest and then wake up for his show.
So you can do the show and do your exercising at the same time, dude.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Wait. I think I'm going to have to move it over to Saturday. We said Friday. And I work Friday, so that's not going to work. I'm going to tell him, can you rather move it to Saturday? I'm sure you'll understand. I wasn't really thinking.
Right. So oh yeah. So it'll be Thursday night into Friday morning, sort of thing.
So I would rather ask him, can I do Saturday morning by me and Friday by him?
Of course.
That might be better.
Bar in both conditions of cold and hot, despite them having opposite bending effects on lights. And I'll show the document after that. But yes,
All right, well,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, here's the video. Are you getting this, Ryan?
Yeah, we got it. And
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard.
Just get
So
better.
excited to announce.
yeah, if you're hanging out in the live chat right now, we still got, well, we had a planned 20 minutes of open discussion before we move into the Q&A. So if you haven't gotten a question in there's tons of questions. So once we move into that, I think we're going to be here for quite some time, gentlemen. So just brace for impact. But
Hey, with Mike, it's never long enough. Who doesn't want to hear him? This is science. This is actual contention. Mike is awesome.
You guys are awesome.
No. Nathan, I don't agree what you just did, Joe. You should have told Mike, I just told you this is a non sequitur because we don't see through fish tanks.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to show us light refracting in a fish tank. We know light refracts through a fish tank. This is called Snell's law. Well done. But we don't look through fish tanks in reality. We look through air. And I think that's what he should have done. Not pop him up and say, yeah, Mike's awesome.
Honestly, this has been one of my favorite ones to host because I get to sit here and just listen to you guys chit chat. And aren't you guys glad though? Let me know in the live chat if you're happy that you can see the speakers on screen. I know I messed it up at first, and you could see me typing in the live chat. Ha ha ha! Right?
Okay.
But isn't it nice that we can see our speakers while they're doing the screen presentations? Because there has been a few of them. So hit the like button. Over to you, Mctoon.
Yeah, guys, hit the like button, share the show. Let's get out to wider audience, guys.
There you see, I'm going to play it. You'll see that bar in the water is curved right there. And he's showing now the laser going right over the bar, and the laser matching the curve of the bar. He's got like some little topography that he added. And the laser's actually bending more than that bar. And then
So he just contradicted his own statement, saying you can see it following the curvature of the bar, and then say you can actually see it curving more than the bar. Then it's not following the curvature of the bar, is it? Because how can it follow the curvature of the bar if it's bending more than the bar? Doesn't make sense.
show us from the end here. It gets down closer to it, and you can see when you get right down to the end here, that bar, which is curved in reality, looks straight. So there you go, right there. So that bar looks straight, which we know is curved in reality, and that's what bending.
Yeah, it's called refraction, Mctoon. Something we definitely know about. I don't see what the issue is though.
Downward of light causes, and that's again, the index of refraction is highest at the bottom, which is similar. It's the analog to cold air over water, for example. And then as it goes up, the index of refraction reduces, which would be similar to the air over water.
No, it's not similar to the air over water. We don't see through fish tanks. This is literally a false demonstration. This is an invalid demonstration because it is not even close to what we see in reality, Mctoon. We don't see through fish tanks. I can tell you now, with a still shot, first of all, you're looking through air, then you're looking through glass, then you're looking through water, which is changing in density. Those are quite a few different mediums. What do we see through when we look in reality? Air and maybe some water vapor now and then. That's practically it. Really weird.
Getting slightly warmer as it goes up. So there's the.
Would you be able to
analog.
Would you be able to back that up a little bit? And also, if you could send this to me, or I'll probably watch this again, because this is something I'll definitely be needing to look at. Just curious too about those nodes that he has sticking up on the metal. Those are
It's some sort of it's like a clay that's meant to simulate topography. Like,
And he's
hills and
shining,
mountains.
he's shining the laser by the clay.
Yes, by it.
Okay. And then I just noticed there at the beginning, so it kind of looks like that laser is entering into the glass straight.
Yeah, it's coming into the glass orthogonal.
That's not what it asked. Straight. You know what incident angle means, Mctoon? He's not talking about orthogonal. He's talking straight. So in other words, horizontal.
And Luke's just saying, why did it seem like you guys don't think refraction is a thing? We know refraction is a thing. It just doesn't work as Mctoon is saying it works.
Sorry, when did we say refraction's not a thing? We
That's
literally
ridiculous.
present refraction practically every single day with our arguments.
Mm-hmm.
How can you present refraction and say refraction's not a thing?
Exactly. Wow.
You see, Luch, this is why people say you troll, because you really say stupid things sometimes. Yeah. We're saying you don't see through fish tanks. That's what we're saying. We're saying you see through air. And we can demonstrate through air what we see in reality. So we can literally mimic what we see. Mctoon's not mimicking what we see in reality. He's trying to make it seem that things are actually curved in reality, but refraction causes it to look straight. Mctoon, again, we don't see through fish tanks. We don't live outside a fish tank. So your whole demonstration is invalid because it is not what we see in reality. If I'm looking out over the ocean at a boat, for instance, I don't stand outside a fish tank and look through a fish tank. Has anybody done that?
No. I don't see the point in doing that. No, it's been. I'd be tempted to look at fishing boats through fish tanks, but yeah, I don't see the point.
Exactly. Guys, please hit the like, share the show. Let's get more people in here. We're great to have you all and appreciate everybody's support. You guys rock. Okay.
Okay, so the laser is level and then it goes upwards with the curvature. So then I would ask
all right. So you could be right there. The laser might be not quite orthogonal.
So the angle of incidence is causing it to appear to follow a curve then. Weird, because that's exactly what Snell's law dictates. The angle of incidence would dictate which way the laser is going to go.
Luke's just saying, I think you're missing the point. The point is different mediums. You're looking through different mediums. That's not what. Wow, he's comparing it to what we see in real life. We don't look through fish tanks.
We know how refraction works, Luch. We know that it changes through the mediums, densities. The issue is Mctoon is trying to use a fish tank, aka glass, and use air outside the glass and water with different densities inside the fish tank to say, look, it's actually curved, but it looks flat. Where in reality, we don't look through fish tanks. So it's literally a non sequitur. It's literally an invalid demonstration. It's like me saying, guys, I can prove Superman exists and he's flying. They say, okay, demonstrate it for me. Okay. And they give you virtual reality goggles. You see, I'm showing you virtual reality goggles, Superman's flying. Great. In virtual reality, Superman's flying. Now show me in reality where Superman's flying. Oh, no, I can't do that. Do we look through virtual reality goggles in reality? No, we don't. This is exactly that. It's a non sequitur. And the laser should be inside the tank as well. Hey, Phoenix, good to see you, man.
Yeah. So I've just said that laser should be inside the tank. Exactly.
So that it matches the angle of the left side of that bar.
Okay. And I'm curious too, because this is showing I would wonder what the observation would be if you, because like,
And you know what? I'm starting to think there's something odd about this demonstration as well. He said that it's actually a curved rod, correct? It's
Yeah.
not flat.
Mm.
Look at this piece of wood.
Yeah, it's laying level
Looking
on
from the
that.
side. Why does it look like that's also following some weird refracted kind of? How do you know the rod is not actually straight?
Yeah, because it's laying level.
Everything-
It looks like it's laying level on top of that wood. I mean, you wouldn't see much
Hmm.
coverage on that space anyway, but it does look like it's laying level. Ah,
Because I've seen with fish tanks, when you look on it from the side, it looks more refracted at different angles from the side of the fish tank than it does, I mean, from the long side, than it does looking straight on from the smaller side. So for all you know, the guy actually has a straight rod there, and he's trying to go from the refracted side where it looks more bent and saying, you see, guys, this is how it actually looks. But in the meantime, that's not what it actually is. Just a thought.
like if we're talking about like the four lights experiment or those observation or those windmill bases, that would be on a globe, you would be looking tangent out, and then they would be dropping down. Whereas this bar is kind of going with a hump.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I'm curious if this would have the same effects, tangents, going tangent as opposed to going riding the curve, the curvature of the. I imagine it would, because this appears a little more severe. So the light is going. It goes once it enters into the salt water, it travels upward. And then once it gets to about that halfway point, that's where it will start to then bend due to refraction.
As soon as when it's in the water,
Water. So last time I checked, we don't live in water, Mctoon. This is the whole point. We don't live in a fish tank. We don't live in water. We live in an air-filled environment. And if you want to go and claim without containment, why are you showing a container? Just to let you know.
Yeah, Spud said the
They
whole thing is error.
I mean, think about it. They try and tell us terrestrial refraction, we don't need a physical barrier, which is literally what Snell's law dictates. Okay, then demonstrates a physical barrier to demonstrate Snell's law.
Harlan, this only works for mermaids. Yeah,
exactly. Oh wow.
then it's going to begin bending due to the index of refraction gradient.
So how does the light go upwards to get up the curve?
The angle that the light is outside the.
Whoa. He just asked him a very specific question. How do you get the light to go upwards? And he says, the angle that the light is outside. He just knows he's just bombed himself again. Outside, guys. The angle of incidence outside of what? The fish tank. So we got a problem there, Mctoon. First of all, we don't see through fish tanks in reality. Second of all, we'll have to be outside your fish tank for your demonstration to be valid. And third of all, you're just conceding that you require a physical barrier for Snell's law to take place, which terrestrial refraction doesn't. Ow. So part 2, Mctoon showed he doesn't know what perspective is and debunked his own argument by showing lenses. Part 3, he debunks his globe arguments again by showing a fish tank and saying you need to be outside the fish tank to show what he claims is working in the globe. Wow, Mctoon.
The tank, it's slightly bent up. So like I said, I misspoke when I said it's orthogonal to the tank. It's not. It's tipped up a little bit.
It goes, which could maybe, I don't know if that could have something to do with reflection.
You know,
As far as
Well,
the
once
angle
it's-
you receive is the angle you
once
reflect.
once it's past the glass or whatever the tank is made out of,
past the glass.
then its effect on the path of light is done. It can't affect it later on. It's
Yeah,
already gone through it.
it could maybe tweak the initial entrance into the medium though, into the tank.
It certainly it very likely does, because it's not coming in orthogonal. It's got a little bit of an upward angle to it.
Oh, so the angle also plays a part, like we said, angle of incidence. Great. Welcome to reality, Snell's law. And you literally show that we do not see what you're demonstrating in reality. Well done.
So like you know, the cover of the Dark Side of the Moon album by Pink Floyd. Not as severe because it's because the glass is parallel. Both sides are parallel. It's not angled like on that album cover.
Yeah. Okay.
And prisms specifically are chosen because they have a high index of refraction. And fish tanks, it's not super desirable to have a high index of refraction. Of course, strength is more important.
Non sequitur again. It has absolutely nothing to do with what is being demonstrated. Your claim is you're demonstrating to show how in reality things looked flat because it's actually curved due to refraction. That's what you're trying to claim. Yet your demonstration shows us standing outside a fish tank, looking through air, glass, and different densities of water inside that fish tank. We don't have any of that in reality. So sorry, Mctoon, your demonstration is a non sequitur. It's invalid, and it has absolutely sweet bugger all to do with how we see things in reality. But I can tell you, Nathan showed an actual demonstration based on actual observation in reality, like tacks and things on a floor, a flat floor, and they opened a door. The cold air came in, and the bottom-up obstruction we observed. Based on your opening statements of how you compute things, based on your claim of how science works, you debunked the globe. Well done, Nathan. You demolished him totally on refraction points.
Can I just say, I read out Andy was comment. He said, "Hi, Mr. PJ. Less with a Mr., more with a star." I'm only joking, just PJ. I had another look at bouncing radio of the sun. I think he was on about radar. Well, yeah, it was on about radar yesterday, weren't we? And couldn't find anything. Lots of sun emits radio waves stuff, but nothing of any substance about bouncing. Cheers again. Cheers for your honesty about it.
Exactly.
Nice.
Shout out to Andy. That is honesty. And when can we expect you to see you as a flat earther, mate? Just joking.
He already told me yesterday it's comfortable in the closet, so he won't come out in a minute.
Andy, you're more than welcome to be a man. But I'm proud of you to actually concede yes that isn't a thing, because that's one thing that we keep getting pushed by people like Mctoon and company, and they have the evidence for it.
But when they're parallel pane when
Edward,
the pane of glass
coming,
is
man.
parallel, it
Appreciate
doesn't
your
have that
support.
same effect like on the Dark Side of the Moon cover, but it does affect it. It is going to come in. It's going to refract towards the normal, and then when it comes out, it's going to refract towards the normal again.
Okay.
Got confused.
So that would be refracting towards. So it goes So it goes up, and this will be I'm gonna have to look into, because the laser does appear, the spacing of the laser from the metal, it does look to be riding the contour of that metal.
Yeah, you know why that would be, Nathan? Maybe the metal's straight. And because you're seeing a refracted image from the side, it appears to curve. Remember, light doesn't actually bend, it only appears to bend. So from the side, it might look like it's following the contours of that metal rod that he's claiming is actually bent. But if you look at this wooden block, the wooden block is very distorted, which shows evidence that it's not actually curved. The metal rod, it's actually bent. I mean straight. So they're trying to just switch 180 and say, no, it's actually bent. It just looks flat. Because if you understand refraction and you look at angle of incidence while looking at it from a viewpoint out from you, you would understand that it's not going to look refracted as in curved if it's actually, I mean, look straight if it's actually curved. It's from an angle that makes it look curved. Sov, I don't know if you still have that video where the guy was in the swimming pool and he was standing away from it and it looked like his body was totally away from him, like the Nirvana, you know, his head's here and his body's there.
Yeah.
But as soon as he went in front of the guy, it was all aligned up.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what's happening on the fish tank, Mctoon. Because your angle is straight out towards the fish tank, you're seeing what you actually see. You see it straight. You don't see it curved because it's not curved. You walking to the other side at an angle on the fish tank makes it appear to be curved because that's refraction. Refraction causes it to appear to be curved, not appear to look straight. You're literally trying to be dishonest and make it a 180 of what's happening in reality. You think we wouldn't know this, yes? He thinks we wouldn't notice this, guys.
He was hoping Lumen wouldn't notice anyway.
I don't think Nathan did really notice it because he's so flabbergasted that the guy's using a fish tank.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of times you are on. He still has it. Will you be able to send it to us, Sov? I'm gonna probably have to make him a moderator again so he can actually send the link.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, 37 people watching. What's going on? Come on, guys, send it, share the show. Let's get the show out to a wider audience. Really appreciate everybody here. While we wait for that link from Sov.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, sorry, I was talking, but that's what I was talking about the other day, Spud. You've had a few names now. What was your first name you ever came into Flats with? It wasn't just Spud, was it? I can't remember your first name, dude. When you first came in, it wasn't just Spud. I don't think it was. But you've had a few names, didn't you? And I can't remember the first one you came in with. I was talking to Vicky about it yesterday.
Shot, thanks, Sovereign. Would be appreciated. If you can hop in and show it to us, we'll be very grateful, man. But yeah, if I'm explaining it, I don't know if I can try and draw it on Paint Salon quickly while we're waiting for him. Because this is actually very dishonest from Mctoon. And I don't think he realizes that we will catch up on this. Let's just quickly share the show. Present, stop share.
Luke's
Share
can't wait
screen.
till tomorrow because he's got something on refraction. No doubt,
Tomorrow?
Luke. Yeah. It's
When
not
now?
tomorrow. It is tomorrow.
Oh,
Monday tomorrow.
on refraction. Okay, that should be interesting.
He said, yeah, he's got something on refraction as well. Yeah, yeah, I'm
Nice,
sure you
nice.
do, Luke. I'm sure you do.
Hey, Riff Raff, what's up, man? Good to see you. Guys, yeah, please hit the clicks. Max65, haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad you could make it, man. Really, really awesome stuff. Okay, I'm going to draw it in two different ways for you guys quickly. Let's separate the two. From here, we'll be looking front on fish tank, okay? So that's the front. This should be side fish tank. So if we draw,
Yeah, Gary, yeah, Flats knows. He was watching a bit of it before the show.
what now?
Gary Benga says, Plan about did a video on you.
Oh yeah. I want to do a video on that as well. The guy really pathetic. But thanks for letting us know. Okay, so we're gonna have this is the machine that shoots the laser out. So we're gonna say the laser, and it's pointing straight out. Okay, this is unfortunately I can't put it. It's difficult to see. Imagine you're looking straight out now. This is you standing behind the box of the laser, and this is the fish tank from the side.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so you can just imagine the convergence zone is, everything's meeting up there. You know what I mean? Just for Pete's sake. Okay. You're looking forward. Oh, someone's here. I think it's Solve.
Yeah, it'll be so.
Hey, Solve, what's up, man? Good to see you.
What's going on? It
Yeah,
is
man.
rocket science. It is rocket science, Flatzoid. See?
I'm just
Nice.
going to quickly try and explain this quickly, and then you'll show us the video. But you understand what I'm saying, Solve? The
Yeah.
guy's very dishonest. He's
Oh my God.
trying to catch people out by showing 180. So he wants to claim where it's refracted, it's not refracted, and where it isn't refracted, it's refracted. And this is based on angle of incidence. If you knew Snell's law, you would know this. Okay, so this is looking straight on. Everything you see through the fish tank would be normal as you see it through, because you're looking out straight. Your angle of incidence is going to stay exactly the same. Just like when he's going to show that guy now in the swimming pool. Now this on the side would be the side of the fish tank. The rod is actually straight. But he's claiming, no, the rod is doing this.
Yeah.
He's claiming that's what it does. He says it looks straight from here because of refraction. No, it looks curved because of refraction. Mctoon. Uh-oh. So I thought I'd just show that quickly. Okay, there we go. Check this. See that we had an angle. See his head? With an angle, guys. This is like
That's
looking
so
at the
cool.
side of the fish tank.
Yeah.
They're not
Now look what happens when he walks to the
No,
front
they're
of
still
the
not
fish tank.
connected.
Okay.
Here we go.
Now
Here we
the angle.
There
Uh-oh.
we go. There we go.
There you go.
Uh-oh. Looking straight on. How it's actually in reality. Mctoon, you better go and explain to everybody why you're lying.
That's a very good demonstration, that one. Brilliant.
Thank you, Solve. I appreciate that.
Nice one, dude. It looks like his head's detached from his body. That's cool.
He's facing completely, like almost 90 degrees from what you're
Okay,
seeing.
look,
as
The
well.
reason
Yeah.
that's looking like that is because the surface is curved. That glass is curved. That's why it looks like he's facing another direction. But even if it was flat, like a fish tank, this is what you would see. Because the angle of incidence is at an angle.
Yep.
You see, it's at a like a 45-degree angle. And that's why you see it refracted. That's why when you go in front of him and you see it literally perpendicular or parallel to the guy, he looks perfect because it's not refracted when you're looking straight out. And that's why we see when he shows the picture of the fish tank with the laser going straight, it's actually a straight bar. It's not curved. And he's showing a straight laser beam because it's not actually curving. Refraction causes things to appear out of place, not it is out of place.
Yeah.
You literally did a 180 switch there.
When I was a kid, I used to bow and arrow fish, and it's pretty cool. You've got a line on the arrow, and there's a reel on the, and you have a reel on your bow, and you have to take that into account. If you shoot right at the fish and not aim underneath of it, you'll miss the fish completely. You go, what the fuck? I hit the image, but it's if you looked at it underwater, you'd see you missed him by about that far.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, I mean that's why it's difficult if you ever go try and do that like the spear fishing where you stand up on the river and you're trying to hit the spear. You got to train your eye to know, okay, if I see the fish here, I have to hit here. You know what I mean? You have to know I have to move 10 centimeters this way because I'm at this angle to know I'm hitting the fish.
See, these are the dishonest little parlor tricks that they try to use to make their globe real. And like you were saying earlier, I covered this the other night. I've got a great video on it of how the 2D perspective that they're showing, the orthographic geometry, is misleading because you're looking at a two-dimensional third-person perspective. That's not what the person is seeing. Okay. And so even though your lines will remain parallel of the sun's path and the plane of the earth, they remain parallel in the drawing, of course. But if you were to put that into perspective, according to that, the sun would keep elevating in height. because your lines of convergence are going down. It's a great demonstration of that, but that's one of the tricks that they use. They're trying to represent 3D perspective from a two-dimensional Euclidean geometric perspective, and it doesn't work.
Exactly. Hey, no longer on a ball. Good to see you. First time here. Appreciate your support. Please be sure to subscribe and keep up to date with what's going on, and hit the likes. It really does help. Appreciate you being here. But you see this now in front. You see how the angle is in front here now. This is how it's actually looking in reality. That's how it physically is. Does a fish tank actually curve, guys? Bottom of a fish tank.
No.
No, you can see it straight here. Now let's go to where he claims everything seems curved. Look at that. Why is the fish tank looking curved as well? Huh. Mctoon totally had it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no surprise there, is there?
So he lied to everybody.
Luch, if you want a weekly show, you better go to more casinos and win more than 10 grand.
But yeah, it's weird. We literally just showed Mctoon lied again to everybody. Maybe someone should show Mctoon why we all call him dishonest. It's weird. Every single part of the series so far, we showed Mctoon to be lying about something. Really odd. How does that work if the guy's not a liar? But yeah, anyway, Solve, how's it going there by you?
So far, so good. I thought Mctoon was going to be on again tonight, but I was wrong about that. It's Ozian and Ross are going against Dustin Nemo and I forget who the other one is. It's supposed to be on there. Oh, FTFE. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that ought to be pretty good.
Yeah, but I said I was supposed to be doing that debate against FTFE and Ozian.
Oh, really?
It was supposed to be with me, but I told them the power situation unfortunately worked that I can't do it.
Oh,
because
man.
I was going to do it, and I said it just worked out that the power's going off at the time they're busy debating.
What's the deal with that over there? I mean, it's like, because I think they do that out in California too, but is that part of this green thing that it's rolling blackouts to keep so that there's,
no,
you know...
It's the claim is that we just can't keep up with the power supply. And it's weird because we even export some power out to places like Zimbabwe and stuff. Wow. Why would we be able to export power out to other countries if we can't even support our own country with power?
Yeah, that sounds
it's
like
just a corruption.
It sounds like WEF shit to me, man. WEF,
yeah, it's just all over it. And think about it, it's part of the New World Order system.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. They're trying to get people herding. It's a herding tactic. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Get everybody compliant. And just, you want power, you know how it feels not to have power. Yeah, take the mark.
Right.
Because everybody is really dependent on having electricity and Wi-Fi and all that. Think about it. If you addicted to having this all the time, when it's taken away from you, what you going to do?
Yeah, well, that's what I've said. People are like domesticated cats. You know, they're declawed. They're used to a can opener means food, and you put them you take away the owner, and they're done. That's it. If they don't have their caretaker, they're done. That's what governments rely on right there. You needing them. And it's like, imagine, I'm not trying to get off topic or anything, but imagine a little kid who wakes up crying, screaming, "Daddy, there's a boogie monster outside my room," you know, and mommy comforts you and daddy checks and makes sure there's no monsters going to get little Billy, you know. And this happens all the time, you know, and he calls for mommy and daddy because he's scared this monster's going to get him. And then one day Billy's rummaging around and he finds the monster mask in his dad's closet and realizes that it's his dad and his mom are tricking him into being scared so that he'll be calling them in for their comfort all the time. He needs them. You need them.
It's conditioning.
Right. So if people don't know how to grow food, they don't know how to find shelter, they don't know how to do anything that would be natural for people to do, that's taken away. So the first offer, you take away everything and then say, hey, we've got this cozy little camp over here. You get 3 squares and a cot every day. You know, oh, I'm down for that. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. That's the whole game. And the worst
Why do you
part of
think
it
they're
is,
trying to?
I was going to
Why
say,
do you think
the
they're
worst
trying to
part,
get everybody? Oh, sorry. Go.
just one last thing is the worst part of it is somebody talks about New World Order, and YouTube will stick a fact sticker on there, one of those little Wikipedia things. New World Order is a conspiracy theorist. And I'm like, dude, Klaus Schwab said it right out of his mouth. George Bush said it right out of his mouth. What do you mean conspiracy theory? You know?
Exactly. I don't think people today really know what the conspiracy theory is, to be honest.
No. When you look back through the history of it, you find out it was born right out of the Kennedy assassination, because there were people that had a theory that a conspiracy, it wasn't a lone nut from a warehouse, that there was an orchestrated conspiracy to assassinate the president. So there was a theory of a conspiracy. What they did was they started putting people out there. Like when Dorothy Kilgallen, a reporter, started getting really close, she accidentally died from alcohol and sleeping pills, you know, reading a book with her reading glasses in another room. But the thing was, is they put out their own conspiracy theories that were wackadoodle, give them publicity, and then show how wackadoodle it was, so that everybody will go along with the actual conspiracy theory of Lee Harvey.
But you see, but that's what they do. They label everybody conspiracy theorists to make it seem that you're less credible. That's all. That's why they want to label flat earthers as a conspiracy, even though it's not a conspiracy. How is flat earth conspiring anything? I mean,
in telling Google, you know, that this could be you need to do something about this, because this could end up being a very controversial political issue. How is your cosmology political?
Yeah.
So it does tie right to the control system. The control system relies on this right here as a foundation. It's a foundational cornerstone of the rest of the deception. If I can convince you that you're a monkey on a spinning water ball whirling through space, I can make you believe any damn thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, TB, can I just say, TB? Yeah, you said what happened to his wrench. Everybody had the wrenches taken because there was a glitch, I suppose, in YouTube that people were getting banned. The mods were doing it. Even mods were getting banned. So it must have been a glitch with YouTube or something. So they all got taken, and Flatch is just giving them slowly back, but surely.
So yeah, I've taken a lot of mods away, but don't worry, everyone will start getting wrenches again as we go on. But yeah, anyway, are you guys ready to go on to the show again?
Let's do it, man.
Show how dishonest Mctoon is.
Always.
The spacing of the laser from the metal, it does look to be riding the contour of that metal.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I, real quick, let me pull this up. Could I just show?
Sure. If you can end your screen share there, Mctoon.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Over to you, Nathan, when you're ready.
All right. I'm just trying to find the here it is.
This is my chance. Smash the like.
Yeah, guys, smash the like button.
If you're watching on Mctoons too, I mean, hey, why not? You know, I think you're still streaming over there. You know,
we don't need to talk about that.
At Outlook.com or James at Modern Day Debate at Gmail.
Adverts. But yeah, Mctoon is being very dishonest with what he's presenting.
Gmail.com. If you'd like to participate at Modern Day Debates, I know James is pretty busy writing his thing right now. So if you want to get a hold of me, that's cool. If you want to get a hold of
Ryan,
James,
we don't give a damn. Can we get on to the debate?
Okay. So, yep. Is it? You see this here? This paper?
I gotcha.
Index of refraction. There we go.
Okay.
Ooh,
so yeah,
this is Snell's law, guys. What does that mean? Angle equals sine. Ooh, I don't know. The incident angle comes in what? So if the temperature deviates from this, a correction of per degree above 20 must be added. A correction of per degree below 20 degree must be subtracted. So it's just to know if you must add or subtract if you're working out the refraction. But notice you still require barriers for this to happen, guys.
Is talking about the index of refraction. So this talks about the velocity of light. It's not constant in all medium. The bending of a beam of light as it passes through the interference of two different media as a consequence of the variation.
Two different media. There we go.
So it talks a little bit about how to calculate the index of refraction. And so this here is actually the standard temperature for measurement of the refractive index is 20 degrees Celsius.
To be fair, TB, he did tell him that we look through air and you doing a fish tank, we look through water, we don't look through that. But Mctoon literally ignored him and just did what he did anyway and just showed it. So, yeah, Nathan should have actually kept on with that and said, yeah, dude, like I said, what you're showing isn't in reality. But like I said, it's just based on experience. Nathan will still get the experience with this. He's still young. Hasn't done this for very long. You'll get the experience later on and say, okay, enough of your non sequiturs, enough of your lying and bullshittery. Let's just get to the nitty gritty. You're being dishonest. You're showing things that aren't in reality and move on. That's where we are, where I am at my stadium and a lot of other people. But he isn't there yet with his experience, I say. So I think Nathan's okay, because if he didn't do that, we wouldn't be able to show how Mctoon lied to his audience again. We weren't able then to show, listen, Mctoon, you saying that this is the refraction which causes it to look straight. In the meantime, it's opposite of what he's claiming. So Nathan did actually okay job there in my book.
If the temperature deviates from this, a correction of 0.0004 degrees per degree above 20 must be added, or a correction of the same amount must be subtracted from the value read directly from the refractometer. So this is talking, and then it gives an example here about how you would alter the measurement. And so this actually I would put in line with, for example, the 4 lights observation was done in winter, and then actually even in the this here.
Oh.
So this is winter. This is a
November,
frozen lake.
it's human.
And then
There you
this
go.
here.
You're not
This here
showing yet.
is-
It says that you're starting. There you go. It's ready.
Okay. So this here, the bases of these windmills would be in a warmer weather condition, and then these here would be in a colder weather condition because this is a frozen lake. So this is showing that despite temperature's influence on light, bending it in alternate directions, changing the refractive index that we actually measure, we have to apply correction. We are able to see.
Yeah, TV, like I said, he's still new in this, and he's not going to get the experience if he doesn't debate, though. So obviously, there's a lot of things we would do different than Nathan, but I don't really see an issue on how he's attacking it. The only critique that I would give is, yeah, maybe you should just be more aware of the fallacies that they bring that side and break it down with that. But other than that, I can't really be critical on that. Yeah.
You got to call it out, man. You got to call it out when he does it. And, you know, like when he come on my show that one time going to prove a air pressure system without containment. And he's like, well, if you have this column of air, I says, how are you going to have a column of air without containing it? And he says, well, you have to use your imagination. I says, well, that'd be like me standing in. He says, well, here I have a column of air. And I says, okay, well, look, here I have a cookie jar of air. You know, I says, so you have pretend containment to extrapolate. I says, you don't understand that a gas can only have weight if it's contained in a volume. And the only way to have a volume of gas is through containment. I mean, how are you going to weigh it? How are you going to weigh, you know, it doesn't work like that, man.
Yeah, but that's why these people don't get what volumetric weight is when it comes to gas. Because gas pressure, it's never static. It's just literally hitting and colliding. That's it. So you can't get a measurement. You can't get a weight measurement.
Right.
So that's why it has to be contained. So it's constantly in collision And that's why you have a volumetric weight for gas, because it's not static, it's dynamic. And they don't understand it. They don't get gas doesn't actually have a weight. It's literally a volumetric weight. It's like adding more substance in and saying, yes, I'm adding more substance, so therefore the weight's going to go up. No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
Gas is a thing. It's substance. But it isn't weight-based. You can't weigh a gas. Gas doesn't have a weight because it's not static. That's why you have volumetric pressure, but they're too dumb to understand this.
The molecules are not bonded to one another.
No.
That's the key to it right there. They're not bounded to it. They're not bound, man, unless they're contained. So unless they're contained, they're just going to go wherever the fuck they want to until they succumb to a thing called what? Dissipation. That's right.
Yeah.
Dissipate.
Exactly.
Very far, despite the weather conditions. And then this can go into things like, I think it's the Mount Canigou, the extremely long distance observations that we were able to make, despite the claim of a globe, which, and one thing to consider about the planar Earth or the globe Earth.
Cheers, Mike. Thanks for coming, man.
Is and this might be a false sense of illusion of knowledge or something. I don't know how to, the words there. But with the globe, we're claimed that we know we know the distance of the sun, the size of the moon, how far away stars are, and what they're made of. So there's a lot of claim to knowledges of the sky and these sorts of things. But I think that there's a lot that we are still trying to understand. But we do, the claim of the globe is that the Earth has a given radius and a given curvature rate. And I know the 8 inches per mile squared is an approximation that is like up to 1% off. I think out to like 1,000.
8 inches per mile squared is perfectly fine when used in the right method.
Oh, so now 8 inches per mile squared is correct. Yes, because based on your geometry, you have 8 inches per mile square of drop. Now, obviously, Mctoon wants to be dishonest and say, no, it means a parabola and you have to use it in the right context or it's not true. No, it's very true. Based on your geometry, the ball would mean at every 8 inches per mile squared, you'd have more drop. So in other words, you take a square and the next one, you're squaring the square. You're squaring the square and you see the further away, the more drop you have. That's based on your geometry. But he doesn't want to accept that, guys, because he thinks drop and bottom obstruction is two different things on his globe.
It's exponential.
Exactly.
And this is why we're using the square, an exponent, because it becomes exponential as you increase. It's the same thing. They try to fool people with this shit. They really do. And they think that sounded very technographical, man. I don't understand it. So this guy's smart. And it's not. It's like, we've measured the gravitational constant. Well, cool. You timed how long things take to drop. So what? That's
exactly my argument as well. What's gravity? Oh no, it's the acceleration. No, that's acceleration. So is acceleration gravity? This is why it comes at the end of the day, they claiming gravity causes gravity because they're saying acceleration is gravity.
Yep.
No, we measure things falling at an average rate of 9.8 meters per second squared. That doesn't mean it's gravity. That's acceleration measured.
Right.
What causes it is your claim that it's gravity. So what is gravity?
Yep.
Exactly.
It's what I'm on that with people all the time. I'm like, why do you not understand cause and effect are not the same thing? Pressure cannot be its own source. It's like you can't just it reminds me of the idiocracy, Well, what are electrolytes? Well, it's what they make Brondo from. It's like, oh my God, man.
As long as they don't start using electrolytes like they did to start watering the crops, I think we'll be okay.
We ain't far off. We ain't far off.
But
yeah, because it doesn't factor in observer height, right?
It's not a method to determine the amount of bottom-up obstruction.
You see what I'm saying? It's not the method to determine how amount of bottom-up obstruction. I'm sorry. Last time I checked, if you have a drop on a ball, the geometry tells you how much bottom-up obstruction you should have. It literally goes hand in hand.
Yep. Well,
Squarespace is saying it's not the same thing.
Some curvature calculators actually listed as hidden height of object. You know,
Even though I think even I Can Science that. He did a video where he tried the different calculations, everything, and 8 inches per mile squared was one of the most accurate calculations for their globe geometry. Yep. The most accurate, literally one of the most accurate. So you guys might want to go to your globe defender, I Can Science that, and tell him, dude, why are you showing everybody 8 inches per mile squared works for our globe? I mean, it's insane. They can't. They always have to contradict themselves, because this is why they hate Neil deGrasse Tyson and Brian Cox and all of them so much, because they just state it like it is according to their religion. These guys know it fails at their argument, so they just have to, disown them and say, "Oh, these guys are morons."
Yeah. Yeah. It's not much different than what the Catholic Church did at the Reformation. First they're claiming authority through the Bible. Then when everybody found out that wasn't true, then they were like, "Oh, the Bible's a bunch of crap. Look, here's some proof. Look, Copernicus. Look, Isaac Newton."
Exactly. Joshua, yeah, and that's where we get to. Do we do observations to 1,400 miles out? No.
No. Nobody can see that far.
So the 8 inches per mile squared is a perfect approximation to use for their globe geometry. And it fails every time.
It's a fine method to measure or to predict a linear drop from a horizontal tangent. But a lot of people say it's the curvature rate. The curvature rate is not. The curvature rate is 1 degree.
It is the curvature rate. 8 inches per mile squared is the curvature rate. You're dropping away from a horizontal tangent, as you put it. That's curvature rate, Mctoon. Duh.
Per 69 miles, or 1 degree per 60 nautical miles. That is the curvature rate.
Yeah, 8 inches per mile of Earth traversed would curve. But that's you would basically be resetting your.
It's a drop. That's all that's giving you is a drop from a horizontal tangent. And I've used that in several things. Jaron used it in his experiment in the movie, and it's the correct formula in that instance. He still made an error.
He wanted to see if it was dropping 8 inches per mile squared, but now you can't use it anywhere else. Just if you want to use it as drop, where bottom obstruction is specifically about the drop. Mctoon, why did you contradict yourself, mate?
He's kind of basically going. I'm sorry. He's kind of basically saying, okay, you're wrong, but you're actually right.
Exactly.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's like holding up a red apple in his hand and saying, this is a fruit and it is an apple, but it's actually a banana.
Yeah. This is gaslighting, man.
Mm.
Wow.
So you need to use the correct formula correctly. You almost got it.
Okay. And actually, real quick, I would like to say this too, hopefully to maybe get a little bit of heat off of Jaron. But if I might just real quick address that movie, the documentary, or what some people call a mockumentary, Behind the Curve. Jaron had said, and I believe there are some globe defenders, maybe people who are not too fond of the flat Earth idea as well. People have contacted those there, and people have on both sides said that night nothing was shown. And Jaron actually, I believe, some people made some money or something off of his interesting quotes, and he did not. And so I would just like to point out that documentary, there was things about the directors and them not being quite honest with him or telling him all of their work before he agreed to do that. And then there was also like
I have to say that would be a given if you know you're working with media that's very biased to the globe. It's going to be a given that they're going to misrepresent you. So, yeah, that is partly Jaron's fault as well, because he should have done his homework and said, "Let me record this as well. What's actually showing and going on."
Well, here's
Think about
here's
It's
something you got to
naivety.
be here's something you got to be careful with these guys too, and this is another one of their tactics. Of course, we know the one, you'll be in the middle of making a point and they're going, well, what exactly do you mean by if, or some shit like that has nothing to do with, but they'll try to bait you into defending someone else. Okay.
Mhm.
They'll say, well, Jaron did this, that, and it's, I'm not Jaron. Okay.
No.
Why are we talking about Jaron? Wanting you to jump in and now defend a third party, because it takes away from what you were doing. Don't let them do
Yeah.
that to you, man. It's like,
And we showed
Jaron's a grown man. He can defend himself.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we showed anyway why Jaron's not experiment was really looking like a dog's breakfast and wouldn't work. Because, I mean, if I wanted to do that thing, I would have got those boards machined out to the perfect millimeter. I would have made sure that everything is leveled out correctly. They're sitting in, I would have went to sit up in the daytime knowing everything is leveled out perfectly, and then got a laser light because it's concentrated light. It doesn't disperse. The guy literally quickly cut it out with a bread knife or something. Looks like a dog's breakfast. Placed it in places, hope it's going to fit in the nighttime, by water, and then shone up a torch. You know what I mean? How do you...
Just to give an example, right? I like to sight my laser on my rifle to match up with my scope. And there's these little tiny set screws. You move that thing at 20, you got that dot at 25 yards on a target, and you turn that little set screw just a little bit, you won't see hardly any movement of that laser at all. But down at 25 yards, you'll see it move a bunch. And that's because your incident of angle doesn't have to be much at the point to be way far off when you're downrange. You can draw this right out. Now, I've played with lasers because I got some on my rifles. And when you're trying to get those sighted in, it's interesting because you can just turn it just a little bit and see that thing downrange move an entire inch.
It'll be gone.
So if you don't have it set correctly over a long distance, you're going to be way off, man.
Exactly. That's what I said. I would have used precision cutting on the boards. I would have leveled them out properly, would have done everything. I would have had even a laser pointer sitting perfectly level on a stand, everything. So it's as lined up as possible, because the further you are with distances, if it's even a inch or millimeter out, it's going to not get through where you want it to be.
Right.
And that's as simple as that. It was the whole not experiment was literally based on showing how unprepared he was, if I put it that way.
Yeah.
But LJ says Witsit got demonetized.
Yeah,
That's
I was just
hectic.
asking.
What all he got demonetized for?
Yeah, I was just asking him what's that about.
I wonder what he did. Well, Witsit, I hope you get it sorted out, man. Even though we don't see eye to eye with a lot of things, I do not wish that on anybody. So hope you get that sorted out.
It's because the system's worried about him. That's why, man. They start hitting you when you're over the target. You know that. When you put out something that makes a really good point, that's when you get nailed. That's when they start hitting at you. And it's just add to the list of the dishonesty involved. That ought to be telling people something right there. I'm the type of guy, if I see a fact check sticker on something, I go, oh, this is probably true, whatever they're talking about. Because that's the only time they ever do anything. I put a meme out one time that said the government's tracking you using your tires. You can easily cut the little antenna that sticks out around your wheel. And it showed a cutter cutting off the valve stem. Well, of course, that's not true. That's not an antenna or anything. Do you think it got hit with a fact check? Not one bit. Because there could be some idiot that thinks that's real and go out there and ruin his tires, right? But they didn't put a fact check on that. They don't care if somebody ruins their tires, obviously. But boy, don't you go thinking the Earth's not a globe. Holy crap, that's a cardinal sin.
Hey, Austin Murphy, good to see you. Yeah, Witsit's on a roll these days. Like I said, I'm actually proud of Witsit. He's really upped his game. And I think he's doing a good job.
needs to slow down his talking. Man,
Yeah.
I have to
That's,
sometimes
yeah,
feel
but
bad.
I think that's due to his, like I said, his photographic memory thing.
Yeah.
Where I think he talks faster than he's really thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Saying that yesterday, wasn't he? He just seems to like flow out comes from his brain straight to his mouth, and it just comes out. So like when someone like Mctoon says word salad, it's not actually word salad. It might sound like it to him, but it's just coming out like
Right.
sort of really too fast. But yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
It's like, do you remember those little cars they used to sell on TV? Those little micro machines.
Yeah,
They had this guy do the commercial for him, and this guy could talk so fast. He's got the world's record for fastest talker. He can
Wow.
read an entire book of stuff in like a half hour. You know, I mean, it's like he's just really fast. He can read this stuff, and he says it, and he doesn't miss a syllable. And I was like, that guy, that's what he's doing. Sometimes if I'm listening to Whitson, I'm like, okay, hold on a second. I back it up a little bit. And sometimes I've even had to slow it down. So I'm like breaking down the words, and I'm going, okay, I got you. And then I put it into layman's terms in my own head, you know. That's why I do on my show a lot of times. I try to take this stuff and break it down so that people, everyday people, okay, I'll say, okay, here's what the guy actually is saying right here. Like with Red's rhetoric. How did you know how far away those stars were? He says, astrometry. And I'm like, so you measured stars. That's what it means. Star measure, astrometry. Okay. So you measured them. How did you measure them? I was getting him back to the assumed astronomical unit. And he got really mad.
Yeah, but I love how they like used parallax to work out like the ISS on the moon and stuff without realizing they literally had to use an angle from a flat baseline to get that measurement. It's crazy. Shout out to Zetetic Warrior. He just told me, yeah, Saturday morning, it's fine. So I'm going on to be on Zetetic Warrior's show Saturday morning. Looking forward to that. I think it's gonna be quite cool. Okay, let's get on with the show. I'm sure there's still a lot more to go on.
Like they had wanted to make it a balanced representation until I believe a kid rose up at a convention and had said that some of the flat earth stuff was kind of making sense. So they decided this is a little bit serious. So we should kind of slant the message a little bit because, yeah, I think that both parties left that night with that experiment with Jaron that they had said, yeah, it's not really conclusive. We've gotten results kind of showing both. So I just kind of wanted to state that as well. And we can talk about like the measurements of the 15 degrees. I just want to throw that out there.
I've analyzed what he did in a lot of detail.
I wouldn't take anything that Mctoon analyzes with a pinch of salt as a fact.
No.
This guy, I mean, if he can lie about a fish tank saying, look, it's actually a bent rod because refraction shows it to be straight. I doubt this guy's going to be able to scrutinize the not experiment Jaron did. I mean, I gave my things why it wouldn't work, and it's practically simple logic why it wouldn't work. Like Nathan said, they had inconclusive results. So, yeah, if they have inconclusive or but what can we say? Mctoon definitely not going to be worrying about your fact checking on things.
I did a video on it a while ago, and someday Jaron might be ready to talk about it, but he's not ready yet. All right, I have something to show you. You were talking about Frozen Lake.
Yeah.
So there is empirically confirmed measurements of the effects of the index of refraction change. So, and the biggest driver of it in the low atmosphere is temperature. And over water has a hot.
No shit, temperature inversion is a thing, mate. Yeah. Weird how we don't see through a fish tank as you pushed it. So why are you talking about something that doesn't show you through a fish tank like you're trying to demonstrate, Mctoon? Why are you trying to now do something that validates Nathan's argument when he showed on the flat floor temperature inversion causing the so-called bottom-up obstruction?
High heat
Specific
index or specific. I didn't want to say it wrong. I'm like, darn it, you got it. Specific heat. So it has a high specific heat.
Yeah, because Mctoon thinks specificity is word salad. He doesn't think specificity means specific. He doesn't know that's the same thing. That's the level of intelligence we have to deal with. Mctoon thinks specificity doesn't mean specific.
I know, man, and we had that discussion about this on my show too. I was like, no, that's a word, man. Don't worry, But he's there again, typical school mom fashion. He always acts like I think he wants to be a teacher. I think he wants to be a teacher, is what I think, because he acts like one. He's got all the props to be one, and this is the way he talks to his audience and everybody that he's talking to. And when I was looking at that thing where he stormed off the show before it started, and he says, it was very telling the way he said, he does not get to be on a stream with me. And I was like, what do you mean get to be on a stream with you? What
Like he makes himself high and mighty or something. Exactly.
Right. Like it's a privilege. Oh boy, I get to be on with Mctoon. Oh, God damn, man.
I'm sorry, but who's Mctoon to be some kind of great guy that you want to be on stream with him? I mean, he reminds me of one of those creepy dudes in a van sitting outside a school kind of thing.
Yes.
The guy you want to really avoid.
Yes.
That kind of, yeah. The guy you keep an eye out for, but you keep a distance from. That's the kind of guy when I think of Mctoon.
Yep. I get that same vibe, bro. I don't know where it comes from, but it's, yeah.
So,
Luke, should we say something?
It changes temperature during the day slowly.
Luke, what's saying?
I was just saying to Luke, I didn't realize you started playing. I was just saying, Luke, if you say something profound, Flats might stick it on the screen for you. He was wondering why some comments come up on StreamYard, and I said, well, Flats chooses them. It's up to some comments go.
Usually if they super chat, it comes up.
Yeah.
Or if it's actually with really good relevance to what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, thank you guys for all your support.
I said something profound. I said something profound.
This is profound. There we go, Luch.
There you go. That's how it's done.
Okay.
So in the afternoon, when the air has had a lot of time to warm up,
hey, Roger Ledwell, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming.
So on a sunny day, the lapse rate is maximized in the afternoon, and it peaks after sunset. Cold lakes, and you live in Minnesota like I do, and maybe you've walked on a lake like I have, you can be comfortable. You could have your coat unzipped, you could have your hat off, and your feet are dying because they're so cold when you're walking on a lake, because that ice is not going to melt. It's going to be at freezing temperature.
And that's
there you go.
Given. What's the conductivity really got to do with anything?
Yeah.
Sorry?
I'm saying sorry. There you go.
Welcome to Flat Earth, Luch. Welcome to Flat Earth, man.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hey, Robert, good to see you, man. Thank you for coming in. But think about nice saying you're walking on a frozen lake and you're not melting the ice, but your feet are getting cold. Yeah, that's called conductivity, mate. Absolutely got nothing to do with what you're trying to talk about. There's another obfuscation tactic. You literally, yes, we understand it's called temperature inversions, and heat rises, just like Nathan had earlier on the other series parts where he showed demonstration. They let the cold air in, and it caused bottom obstruction. You can cause heat to come, and it causes bottom obstruction. Why? Because heat rises, and it replaces it with the cold air. So while it's pulling up, it's pushing down, and therefore you have your distorted image. That's what we see. That's why when you guys get idiotic claims like the Chicago skyline, we're not supposed to see. It's because of refraction. No, it's actually the opposite way. That's why you don't see it most of the times because of refraction, not the other way around. If you notice when you look at the Chicago skyline photo, it's not distorted. You know why that is, Mctoon? It's because when it's low refraction that day, not when it is refracted. It's an opposite thing. Refraction causes the curve, not takes it away.
See, the Earth is continuously trying to trick you to make you think it's flat. That's what's going on. It's just always trying to trick you. It's you can't trust what you see, man. It's obviously a ball. Come on, man.
Oh boy, Magooby is a genius. I live in Saskatchewan. Very cold. Exactly. And I doubt you'd like to walk on there just with no socks, barefoot.
No.
Yeah. You'd love it on the ice.
Now I can tell you this though. I lived on a lake in Michigan growing up, and in the wintertime it gets frozen enough on that lake that you can actually drive a car out on it, right? And we would go out there and chop a hole in the ice, and then we'd tow out this thing out there called an ice shanty. And it's a little shack that you anchor down on the ice over your hole. You got a little bench in there. Hell, you can sit in there in shorts and a t-shirt all day long fishing, and the light's coming right up from the ice. You don't need any kind of lighting inside there. You can see right down in that hole like you're looking into a TV set. And it stays warm and nice in the floor. Yeah, it's a little colder, but you can sit in there just in your socks and it's not going to bother you.
Yeah, and it doesn't melt.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's
now,
why an igloo works so well.
Yeah, when you're outside,
thermalating the heat inside.
Yeah. Now, when you're outside on the ice, because me and my friend, we used to take a small bed sheet and put on ice skates, and I'd hold two corners of it, and he'd hold the other two corners of it, and we could actually control our speed by getting closer to each other or pulling the sail out tighter and get rolling right along. But the thing is, even though your feet are this far off of the ice, it still get colder first. Your feet still get cold first. And that's there again because of the heat rising. All your body heat's going up into your upper extremities and everything. So yeah, it's not rocket science.
Nope. But yeah, let us actually see where Mctoon is going with this. Should be interesting.
It just absorbs all of the heat. So there's a very high index of refraction gradient or temperature gradient first above a
water
lake.
Does, just as a fun fact, water does have some interesting freezing behaviors around the 0 degrees Celsius mark there. It's like 0 to 4. It's incredible.
It is very unique. If water did not do that, life probably could not exist because lakes would freeze bottom up. And
what?
Literally another. Literally, he's trying to sound intelligent, guys, by saying the same thing as Nathan.
Yeah.
Insane. Hey, Lou, what's up? Good to see you, man. What's up?
Oh, Lou, come in. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. How's it going?
How's it going?
I'm good.
It's good. So yeah, I hear you're a flat earther now.
No, unfortunately not. I just said that.
That is unfortunate, yeah. I'm glad you know it's unfortunate.
Are those bat wings on your avatar? Do you have like a dude with bat wings on there? Hey, well,
that dragon. It's a dragon.
Oh, dragon. Okay.
Dragon, yeah.
I already did this one with them, didn't I?
Okay.
I said dragon wings and an orca tail.
He does know like the day early, doesn't he?
Yes, he did.
Like that's eager.
He is eager. Have you got?
Guys, ready to carry on?
Yeah, carry on.
out of top down. So anyway, and every year in the spring we get to see that in lakes. You'll be walking along, you'll see a lake, it's frozen, and then the next day completely gone.
I wonder how the Y-hat works.
The whole thing inverts. It's pretty cool. Okay, so the index of refraction gradient or the lapse rate. The lapse rate of 1, this is the key number, empirically confirmed, 1 degree per 10 meters is the number that is an important number. So what happens is, as we saw, that
10 meters raise in elevation.
Vertical, yes.
Okay.
So that beam of light, that laser that we saw, has a curve to it, and that curve has a radius.
No. Again, he's lying. It doesn't. Light travels in straight lines. Refraction only makes it seem to be curved. So you're already wrongly again, Mctoon. You see, he's taking it and he's trying to do 180 on what's actually refracting. Refraction doesn't make curved light straight. It makes straight light seem curved.
Yep.
Idiot. Roger Lidwell, thank you very much for your $2 super chat, man. Really appreciate it. He says, NoFX maps prove maps don't lie. What is a NoFX? No FX. Oh, no FX maps true maps.
No effects, right.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
It just means there's no visual effects maps are true maps. I mean, if you look at the old maps, I am a staunch believer that I think the lands and things do change over time. I really do think so, because you have cartographers and stuff that show different through the centuries, different layouts of the lands.
Yeah,
and
of
I
course.
do think the lands do change through time. Definitely.
Yeah, well, you've got erosion and stuff like that as well, haven't you? Like cliff sides going into the sea and that. So, I mean, they're bound to change shape a little, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at the 1587 Urbano Monte map. That's got some very interesting things on it. There again, we see maps around that time. No Great Lakes around the Michigan area in the United States. And it's like, look, how does a cartographer miss a lake that is virtually an inland sea? I mean, these things are huge. I've been there. I mean, several times. And also showing Antarctica with a completely different climate. There's plants and animals. It shows flora and fauna. And it's not like this is just guessing, you know. If you're commissioned to create a map, this is by very powerful people. And if you just make up shit that isn't really there, and they go out spending, you know, untold fortunes to explore and go to these places for trade or resources, and there's nothing there, your head's going to be on a stick pretty damn quick. Yeah. You know, I mean, they didn't play around with that. So it's not just the fanciful ideas of somebody. There was definitely a different type of a climate. Some kind of cataclysm or even series of cataclysms have happened that has changed that. That's why I say the messing with our timeline is covering up a whole bunch of stuff. You know, I agree. The flood wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Hey, Shauna, good to see you, man.
Oh, wow.
In the air, the curve, the radius of that curve is equal to the radius of the Earth when the temperature gradient is 1 degree over 10 meters vertical.
Oh, so the black swan shows you wrong then as well, even if you want to claim refraction, because you guys said it's got like super looming, crazy refraction. Didn't they say that?
Lifted it up 100 feet, man.
so it's literally going against what he just claimed, because he's making it sound that it's very structured. And if like the black swan's very not structured, how's it showing it flat then? No, right. Black swan shows it does exactly what we say. Refraction causes your curve. The refraction causes curve, not takes it away, Mctoon.
Is that true? There's no pictures of winter before 1700. Is that a true comment in that?
No.
Well, it could be.
Well,
it could be.
How do you? When I think the 1700s they first created the camera, so I wouldn't think there would be pictures.
No, but I mean, even like people like painting and stuff like that. I mean, surely there was.
No, there's probably paintings. There were paintings, obviously.
Have you
Yeah.
ever heard of a mirror? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just
That's
wondering.
sad.
Oh, he says paintings, drawings,
Paintings
none
and
of that.
drawings, none of it. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Really?
That's
I'll have to
sad.
look into that.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
why I was asking if that was a true a true comment, or if that was just a joke. Because yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting.
I noticed the background of Southern Souls thing. It's the ISS, isn't it?
Yeah, he can float as well. He can float.
I got my handler. That's my Chinese handler from the CCP. His name is Something Wong, and right now back around the corner is We Too Woe is back there too.
Way too, yeah.
Did you ever see a Mirascope? Have you guys ever seen a Mirascope?
Sorry,
Play
I
on
just want to say, Sean, I got on screen now. I'll quickly just. I actually found quickly. Sorry, you can carry on talking. I'm just quickly getting on screen for him. There we go. This is winter. Okay, that's another one. 1405, Jerry Frisco, Castelletto. And there's another one. 1412 to 1416.
Oh yeah.
1510. So no, definitely shows winter. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say that did seem a little too
Yeah.
far-fetched.
Sob's links in the chat.
Would have been interesting if it wasn't, though, to tell you the truth. Hey, Carl, good to see you, man.
Definitely would have been interesting. But yeah. Vicky's put Sovereign's link in the chat. If anybody subscribe to Sovereign's channel.
Wait a minute. What was the argument if it wasn't depicted in?
Well, he said those dates aren't verifiable. Yeah, that I'll have to agree with him. You can't verify dates, right?
That's true.
What were you gonna say if they weren't depicted in paintings? Winter, that is.
Just saying it's interesting.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's not really. You wanted to present Sol?
Yeah, I was going to show this as a interesting display of how images can be refracted. And I have this thing right here. It's called a Mirascope. And you see that little frog sitting up on top of it? It's like a little plastic frog. It's in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the lid, yeah.
So watch what happens here. So check this out, this little frog, right? Okay. So as I move away, he's going to end up disappearing. Or maybe not. But as I do get closer and change the angle. Oh, wait. What's going on here? Look, my finger goes right through him. How is this?
I have one of these.
This is called a Mirascope. And it holds, you put a little thing down inside of it. And
I have one.
There's it. And he was completely facing the other way when you put the top back on.
Wow.
And appears to be a hologram above the object. Isn't that really cool?
Pretty cool.
It's cool.
It is. It's pretty cool, yeah.
Hi, Z. Good to see you, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
Just like my thing was the water in front of the arrow. The arrow changes direction as you put water in front of it. That's also pretty cool.
So the thing is, too, is if you notice the image is completely 180 degrees from what it was actually setting. The orientation of that frog inside the Mirascope is 180 degrees from what you're seeing it. And when you you can see it from different angles, but when you get to a certain angle, part of it starts to disappear. You see it start to disappear. That's what would have happened if the Chicago skyline was actually this mirage that they claimed it to be. When they started going toward it, as Rob Skiba did on a boat, as they started going toward it, at some point that image should have disappeared, and then you get the real image. And you never saw any of that.
It's a reflective angle of incident.
Right.
That's a reflective angle. That's all it is. As I said, we see optically with things. And it's very possible that even the luminaries we see are just reflections, not actual what we see. You don't know. We don't know what we're seeing in the sky actually.
For tomorrow, would you name it the Luch's Special Part 2?
Luch's
Yeah, we'll do that. Definitely.
Yay!
no, he's called
Thank
Luch's
you.
last special.
Luch's last special.
Yeah.
Angela, I just want to tell Angela, yes, I am going on Z's channel Saturday morning. Looking forward to it. Really looking forward to going on his channel. It's going to be an awesome show. Okay, let's get on with this to see where Mctoon's trying to take this.
Right.
Can you say that one more time?
So the lapse rate is the vertical temperature gradient. When the lapse rate is 1 degree Celsius per 10 meters, then the radius of the ray of light is 6,300 kilometers.
So that would match the measured empirical lapse rate of 1 degree per 10 meters happens to be what is required to bend light along the contour of the Earth.
The same radius of the
And Black Swan demolished your radius of the Earth. So sorry to tell you that, Mctoon. And by the way, radius is a straight line. Maybe you didn't realize that. And light doesn't actually bend. Light travels in straight lines. It only appears to curve. It doesn't actually curve. Two different things.
But you're not taking into account the donkey dick tangent factor.
Donkey dick tangent.
That's what I'm saying. It's donkey dick tangent because they're claiming bent light. So then it can't have a radius because a tangent requires a straight line. And as soon as you're claiming that tangent is a curved line, it can't be a tangent to a curve. You've literally thrown away your tangent.
There's like two. Sorry, but there's
Okay.
like two. There's like two main contexts, right? The classical and the general relativity one, right?
I don't understand what you're saying.
In the classical, light would be traveling in straight lines. Yeah, you're right there, but in the general relativity one, in the context of general relativity, it can involve curvature in a more literal sense. Now,
But general relativity is only mathematical, and it only deals with reference in maths. In the fourth dimension, we don't live in. So sorry.
One that says it's a well-endowed tangent.
I tried.
Exactly. Hey, Geometry, I can see, man.
And it's rarely exactly that, right? If it's more than that, then light will bend down more and hit the surface more. And
sorry?
I'm gonna hop off now. So
okay, thanks for coming in, and I'll see you tomorrow night then.
Yeah, see you tomorrow night. Can't
Awesome.
wait. Bye.
That's gonna be great. Cheers. Have a good evening, dude, or day, or whatever it is there.
Yeah, morning. Yeah, 6:39. See ya.
Awesome.
Cheers,
man.
See
ya. Donkey tangent, otherwise known as the gerund tangent. Yep, could be.
Reflect off of the surface if it's a shiny surface like water tends to be. Just a second. So
see, he doesn't even know himself what he's actually arguing about. He's trying to make the argument up in his head as he goes along.
Right.
Because he's literally trying to back engineer what's actually being observed.
He's trying to remember. He's trying to remember the lie he said last time when he spoke about it. You know.
I think he's talking to a crew, man. I think he talks to a crew.
Of course.
I mean,
he's obviously got people because he keeps looking down and you can see he's reading something.
Yep. That and it's like, what's with the headset? Always with the freaking headset. You know, I don't use a headset ever. I don't have feedback. I don't have any problems whatsoever. What's going on?
You know what's weird? I always used to use the earphones because when I sat there, I used to have feedback. But now that I've got these speakers, I'm able to turn it away and I put it soft so I can use it and you don't really get the echo or anything. So that's cool. I don't need to get earphones anymore. But that's the only reason I used earphones was because of the feedback. These guys, they just use earphones all the time, and you can literally sometimes you can see it's almost like they are interacting with something being said in the earphones, or they're reading off something as well.
Yeah.
It's like they just can't do stuff on their own.
I watch him like that. FTF Fight the Fat Ass does that all the time too. He's got always with the little earphone. And it's like they're talking. There's somebody feeding them shit, fielding questions, putting out answers, and then he's ad-libbing the response based on what he's reading or hearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had one more thing before again, on my website, mctoon.net/refraction, I have several of these. I have a list on there, and the final one that's on there is the one that is particularly to the point where they use the lapse rate and they measure the curve and how much and match them up to determine empirically how much they match. So,
and do we really have to go on his site and laugh on how ridiculous it is? Empirically, he says.
He had to get that plug in again, didn't he?
Yeah. He always has to plug his site, if you guys haven't realized that.
Gosh.
The point is, 1 degree Celsius is enough to curve light if it's over 10
light
meters.
doesn't
so if
curve
it's less than 10 meters, you get 1 degree change. It's a big deal. It's gonna curve the light.
Light doesn't curve, Mctoon. It travels in straight lines.
Would be a lot of refraction.
Yes. So here is my personal measurements using a NIST certified thermometer on a lake in Minnesota. So here we have at, this is just above, what's this, 18 inches. So it's half a meter, right? I did these, I have an imperial tape measure, but I did it at metric elevations. So half a meter.
Go metric. We should. We really should. Ryan's way ahead of us in Canada.
Do science and metric. So 0.2 degrees Celsius.
Base 10.
You're not doing science, first of all, but carry on.
At half a meter. Here is at 1 meter, 0.7 degrees Celsius. Here is 0.9 at 1.5 meters. And 1.2 at 2 meters. So we actually get a full degree change in 1.5 meters.
Okay, and then we can debunk this quickly. You know how, guys? Go on a different day.
Yeah. Yep.
Literally just go on a different day. You'll have different measurements.
It's throughout the day. Throughout the
Even
day.
throughout the same day.
Yeah, it's going to change throughout the day. It's going to change your refraction index. You always want to claim that there's a constant to that. I can show you time lapse of a shoreline that changes just through half of a day, just because of the different temperatures that are coming through, the different positions of the sun. I mean, there's so many factors involved, and these guys are always looking for a one-step answer. That's why they always talk like, oh, it's in layers. No, it's not in layers. Okay, there's not like a layer cake.
And this is the thing. This is say he wants to say it's empirical and call it science. No, it's not empirical. It's not science. This is them literally trying to back engineer something and affirm the consequent. It's anything but science. You're not doing a cause and effect relationship. You're making a claim that because I have a belief in an Earth curve, and I'm claiming you have density gradient that causes the light to reflect. So therefore, I have to have different measurements of air temperature. You do know by default, Mctoon, the further you are away from ice, the warmer it gets. Who knew? You don't need a thermometer for that. I can literally open my freezer door, get cold while I'm sitting in front of it, walk away, and I don't feel it anymore. Or how about if I put my stove on, my oven, and I don't feel anything, but as soon as I walk towards it, I feel the heat. Do I need a thermometer to tell that? No. It's idiotic. Roger Ledwell, thank you very much for a $2 super chat, mate. Really appreciate it. Says, watch the Flat book by Paul Cleet. Sounds interesting. Do you guys know what Flat book that is by Paul Cleet?
I've never heard of it.
Flat book. But thank you very, very much for your super chat, man. Really appreciate it. Flat Paul. Do you maybe have a link for me, Roger? Then we can maybe look at it sometime. It'd be really great. Okay, let's carry on.
Which is
It's getting later.
a significantly higher lapse rate than is necessary to bend that ray of light more than the radius of the Earth.
Mctoon, can you see the light bending while you're taking these measurements? Does anybody see light bending there around him? As far as I can see, everything looks in position quite well. He does know that refraction through like air and stuff, you need a certain distance for it to be affected. Yeah.
Me neither, Sean. Me neither.
And he
I
acts
don't
like
know if that.
Yeah.
he acts like I was saying, he acts like it's a layer cake. Like that's going to be consistent over the whole distance of the lake at that height. That's going to be consistent. And he's not taking into account that this shit's constantly mixing and waving and blowing. And it's, yeah, like I said, not science. He's just reaffirming.
I mean, if you know anything about wind, why is a lake usually very windy, guys?
No obstructions.
Yeah.
And because heat rises and cold air tries to fill it up. So it causes currents, wind currents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's much stronger. So you literally can get different readings at exactly the same elevation, like a meter away, not even a half a meter away from you. Mctoon, everything you just showed shows you literally, how can I put it as a nice way, incompetent. He is incompetent.
If that hits you, I don't know if that sinks in, but this means that over ice, the index of refraction, the coefficient of refraction. Coefficient of refraction is how much light bends in relation to the radius of the Earth. The coefficient of refraction is very high.
Hey, it's me again. What's up, man?
Okay, so I have two questions here. One might be, would the lapse rate be as strongly increasing here on ice? Would it be similar if you were doing it over warm water? Because we've made long observations over warm conditions. And then I would ask too about the lapse rate or the implications on the refraction of like again for the linear observations we make in the natural world, and then the attempted recreation of a curved piece of material. Is the lapse rate using glass mediums and salt water, sugar water, are those comparable to conditions we could find in looking over water in our natural world?
Great questions there. And I can tell you straight away, no, it's not, Nathan. No, it's not. Using a fish tank as a demonstration for what we see in reality is literally no. It's a straight no. We don't look through fish tanks. And the guy's making it sound very like a linear relationship, which is bullshit.
I'm going to tell you another trick I'm starting to come to the idea of that's been being used a lot. And that's the use of a green laser. Now, you might not think that's going to make a difference, but it does. Now, I have lasers for my rifles, right? I have some that are green, but the majority of them I have are red. And the reason I have red is because I live in an area that it gets cold in the wintertime. And a green laser doesn't work worth a shit in the cold. It's affected by that.
Yeah, because it's at a different frequency. Remember, they all have different wavelengths of light.
Yep.
So you need something that's got a more constant frequency that's going to be able to shine much more accurate. And that's probably also why the other guy used the green laser.
Yep. It's more effective. You use a red laser, you're going to get a different story altogether, especially when it comes to temperatures and mediums. So, yeah, I thought the green lasers looked cool at first and everything, and then I started playing with them, and I found out that they weren't worth a shit in the cold.
Check out this. Yeah, exactly, Jolly Man. Temperature has nothing to do with terrestrial refraction. It's a constant. That's practically what they're saying. They're saying because we have density columns, quote unquote columns, therefore you have refraction, which causes the light to bend out. So when things get hot and when things cool down, it's still just supposed to follow the shape of the Earth. They can't make up their mind.
Whatever fits the moment.
They're very selective. Exactly.
Well, those are like the one from Jesse. That's a proof of concept that he didn't do anything to measure the index of refraction gradient, and of course the lapse rate that's in the air is significantly different than the salinity lapse rate in a tank.
Confused, Nathan is like, what the hell are you talking about? He's literally talking rubbish.
Garble
of water.
He's like thinking, what the hell are you saying? That's not what I asked you.
I don't know if anybody's done any of the application of the salinity lapse rate in a tank of water. I think that's...
Sorry, Biggie? Did you say something?
No, I just... you probably heard me queuing up a video. It's on Refraction. It's a real short one I got. I'll bring it up in a minute.
Hey, Daniel Watkins, what's up, man? But do you realize Nathan asked him two very specific questions, and Mctoon is literally pussyfooting around them. He's not answering them. He's giving what he tries to claim flat earthers do, word salad.
This is just over a short time lapse over a period of time through the day. It's only 30 seconds, but you'll see a lot of change happening, especially right here. Notice, I want you to pay attention to these buildings and other structures that you see.
And here is the horizon, which is supposedly
heat rises.
Time lapse of it throughout the day. We see it moves drastically, goes up and down. Now the Earth is not breathing in and out. It's not doing yoga and changing. Of course, this is just an optical effect because the conditions are changing, and so it's causing the horizon to move around because that's just the vanishing point, the convergence point, and it's changing based on the different conditions. It's just an apparent. It isn't any physical hump blocking things in the.
Exactly.
That's a good demonstration of that because you see it just moving all over the place, and like he said, the Earth isn't really breathing. It's just it's an optical effect that's changing throughout the day. And what you got to take into consideration, that's a result of a combination of temperatures over a distance. Because like I think it was what PJ said, if you took that reading of temperature on the lake right there at so many meters high or whatever, and then move 25 yards and take that same reading. Okay, is it going to be the same temperature? No, it's not. It's going to have a variance. And so that's what you've got going on through this whole thing. They always treat everything like it's one cause for everything, like gravity, and it's like, no, there's a bunch of shit involved here. You've got a lot more involved with what you're talking about than just one thing, I don't know. That's just how they are.
No, that's true. I mean, just that demonstration alone. Can I ask you, Sov, when that thing we just watched, did we look through a fish tank?
No, I don't believe that was shot through a fish tank. It could have been. I don't know, but no, I would.
Why? Oh man, and did that look like it had a linear curving of light, as he would say, going over a curve?
No.
Everything based in reality shows Mctoon to say absolutely bullshit. He's just talking bullshit. Literally has nothing. Wow. I don't think we really need to go on with this anymore.
No,
I mean,
no, definitely not.
I was
So,
just
yeah,
looking through
so
my
my take on this, I would say Nathan did a great job. Obviously, his experience is letting him down a bit when it comes to understanding how to call someone out when they're talking total bullshit, like bring up fallacies and stuff. But like I said, he's still young. He still has quite a bit to learn. But I think he did a good job. Overall, for his experience, I think he did a good job.
yeah.
I like his debating style because he's still he's trying to stay as honest as possible and he's trying to let the guy get his argument out and everything. But I think that's also going to bite him in the butthole later on. So he should maybe think of changing a bit by being a bit more stern. Like if a guy's going to totally non sequitur his argument, then rather go and say, sorry, dude, that's not what I was saying. Please fix that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I think that's something I would make if I had to give criticism on that. Nathan, read the arguments a bit better and try and break it down at the roots if they come and say they come up with fallacies. That's all I would really give. But other than that, I think he did a good job. I'm not going to badmouth Nathan or anything. I think he did a good job.
Yeah, that was my take on it too. Is he seems a little nervous.
Yeah.
And that's I understand that completely. But another thing too is, bring your facts and stuff. But in my own personal opinion, I prefer a thought-driven monologue for an opener. Have notes and stuff, but don't be like you're reading it out of an encyclopedia or something like that. Go ahead and show the article or whatever is referenced, highlight the pertinent topics, keep it right to the point. And for God's sake, don't let them take you into these two traps. One, defending someone else. Okay. Regardless of who they are or whether or not you using some of their material or whatever, base it only on the material. Don't let them lead you into that trap. And don't let them into the thing of making you defend a claim. Because let's think about this. By all observation, everything seems to be a level, topographical, motionless plane. That's what we observe. Along comes these bozos and claim something that goes completely against reality and against physical law and claim it to be science. Okay, there's the burden of proof right there. There's the burden of proof right there. So I can comfortably say Earth is a stationary level topographical plane contained within a dynamic fluid pressure system. Contained? Yes, absolutely must be.
100%.
Can I show you the container? It's obviously above us somewhere. Okay, I can't go there, but
well,
it must
can I show you the cow? Can I show you the cow that you got your steak from?
Right. Right. That's a great analogy. That's a great analogy. But the fact that it must exist. I mean, you state that yourself when you say that it has weight, and we all know that a gas can only have weight in a contained volume. Now you're going to say gravity. All right. What's your downward acceleration of air due to gravity? Can you show that? Can you prove that? No, you cannot. The only thing you can do is collect some in a volume and weigh it using a quantification that we use, whether it's stones or kilograms or pounds, it doesn't matter. It's only a quantification that we use defining the relative density disequilibrium of an object within its medium. The medium is where it's at, man. I can modulate the medium and change the weight. This is why obese people have to do physical therapy in a pool, because it gives them less weight, less struggle. They can work down to it, you see. I don't know why they have to have this. Oh, there's a magic force. There's unicorns pulling on you and shit.
Well, let's, for instance, look at tungsten hexafluoride. It's the densest gas we can get, okay? It's even more denser than sulfur hexafluoride. And even that disperses into the surrounding system.
Yep. And when they demonstrate that as a gas without containment, you notice it's always in a container.
In containment.
Right. And
Exactly.
it doesn't need a top to it, just like water doesn't need a top to its container because it's, of course, denser than the medium around it. Now, you take away that tank, what's going to happen to your hexafluoride or any other dense gas? It's going to dissipate. Sometimes these jokers come up with the idea, well, carbon dioxide, you can take dry ice, and if you melt it, you'll see the fog, the carbon dioxide falls to the floor. Well, of course, it's concentrated mass of cold gas. It's
like asking, do you know what the arrow of time means?
Yeah.
It has a dissipation rate. Things take longer if it's denser to dissipate. So if it's denser, it takes longer to dissipate, but it will still dissipate.
Yep.
AKA gravity's not pulling it down. If it did, it will never dissipate. Roger Ledwell, thank you very much for your $2 super chat, man. He says, awesome natural science documentary. You rock, man. I appreciate all your support on the show. And yeah, really awesome stuff, man.
If that were not true, what you just said, if that were not true, then we got this big haunted house that they make all their money one time a year in October, right? They'd only ever have to put the fog machine out one time, and just leave that fog laying on the floor for next year. When everybody comes in, all that fog will still be on the floor because what? It didn't dissipate.
Of course.
It's going to. It always does. Why do we have a concentration of gases near the earth? Why? Well, that's where they're produced, of course.
And there's more surfaces to be able to bounce off of, more collisions.
Well, and we've got another factor involved here too. Well, actually, the entire process of natural respiration, and that's incorporates the condensation and evaporation of waters, exchanging of gases by organisms. I mean, these aren't just staying. They're constantly being exchanged, continuously being exchanged. But, so there's this mixing. And then you've got the sun going around that's going to cause a constant heating and cooling, which is going to have a mixing effect. I mean, it's not a layer cake, people. It's not.
No, it's a dynamic system.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Perfect. Couldn't have said it better. That's a good way to end it off. So nice one.
Definitely.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
So yeah, PJ, do you have any closing statements?
No, I couldn't say it any better than that. That's sort of rounded it up perfectly. That's brilliant. Couldn't say any better than that. Dude.
Exactly. So I'm going to say that as well. I want to just close off. Brilliant. Thank you guys all for. So I think that's going to wrap up this series. We don't need to do more than this. Tomorrow night I'll do Luch, and then I'm looking forward to Wednesday. Going to be covering the video that Planner Walk has done on me. So that's going to be quite funny. Look at your face. Yeah, it's quite hectic. But I think it's just going to be funny to see what the hell guy came up with. And then happy birthday, Alan Orstrand. I hope you have an awesome birthday further. And then tomorrow night is Vicky's birthday as well. So shout out to Vicky. You rock. Really, really appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody's support on the channel, all the super chats, all the people that help behind the stream shows and everything, and you guys just being here by hitting the like, sharing the show helps. So yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate all of you. Much blessings. May the pressure be with you. See you all tomorrow. Cheers.
All right.